Hello and welcome to another Cosmic Heart Conversations podcast, where you're joined with me, Georgie Dragonfly, where we share lots of beautiful conversations with divine loving souls on their journey with light language, with channeling their pure soul and frequency, and information that is really here for the highest and greatest good, to assist those expanding and really looking to discover more of themselves. And now here today we're joined with the wonderful Gailelaine, who also goes by the name of Gailelaine Angeleyes. You may already have met her and experienced her beautiful energy and frequency. She's someone that has been an incredible guide for me and helped me open up my heart. And here we are. Here we are to bring this conversation. So welcome yourself in, Gailelaine. We'd love to hear who you are from yourself, your I am, and what you're bringing in at this time.
Oh, thank you, Georgia. It's really kind of you. What I'm bringing in, what's coming in through me, that's the point, isn't it, at this time? I've been doing this a long, long time, and energetically, it's totally changed. As all you young ones must know, the feeling, the energy that is coming in is so pure, powerful, shifting. You've heard the thing, let it go, let it go. Well, this is totally different than letting it go. This is drilling into you. The energy that's come in is drilling into you. It's drilling into every microcosm of you, of your being, of your human self. This is how the body is evolving. The body is now evolving. So everybody is feeling everything in the body. In emotional, in the energetic shifts. The emotional is you're going through emotional stuff that you think you've cleared. But as that energy is dropping in you, it goes into every molecule within your body. And if there is a little speck of shadow there, it then is coming in and pushing that out. We've had so many sunbursts that have affected so many light workers also. So you've got to understand that as well. The energy that is coming in is more powerful than it's ever been because it's not stopping. It used to come in for so long and then stop, come in for so long and then stop. And what's happening now is that it's continuous, but it's stronger. So all of you are going to be feeling this, all of you, all light workers, even people who are not awake. This is awakening them, like something's wrong, but you've got lots of mental problems with this. People think they are mentally, something's happening to them, but it's the body shifting, evolving. So this energy is gone into those little, those beautiful, that beautiful tiny body, as Archangel Michael always calls it, a tiny, tiny body that you have, because you have a huge soul. And it's in those molecules and it is pushing out the shadow. And when it pushes out the shadow, it's evolving you. But you have these emotions, these feelings that come up. And you think, oh God, I'm sure I shifted this, but sit in it. Sit in it. Don't push it away. Do not go. Wow. So when your emotions come up, maybe fear, maybe anger, maybe trepidation, it's a weird feeling. Just sit with it. Just allow it. Don't run off and try and change it. Just sit with it for a while and it will shift. And as it shifts, you evolve. You evolve every time it shifts. Remember that. And my work, I'm kind of an alchemist. People call it healing. I call it alchemist, because I help shift something within your energy system that then allows you to progress in your spiritual self, in your soul self. So that's my work. And when I work, I'm usually channeling. Obviously, it's always channeling with me. And the energy that comes through is usually from Archangel Michael, the Elohim, Mary from the light. I have Gabrielle also comes through, but they come through, but I have a shamanic person that comes through. He's amazing. He dances around people. He goes wild sometimes. And I have someone in front of me, and I'll say, look, these things happen to me. Be aware of this. My face changes, lots of parts of me change. I sing, I do all sorts, but it's not me doing it. It's my body is taken over. They go into my persona. They always have, and they use the whole of my energy system because I work with the light. Understanding this is very unusual for some people, but now they're beginning to take me for some reason. Okay, I'm asking them to leave me at the moment, so my head twitches, things happen to me, and when they've got an audience, they love an audience. So I've just thought I'd let you know, this is the work I do. So back to Georgia.
Back to me. Well, I could ask you, where did this start for you? Because you have obviously quite an interesting journey into becoming, and I think everyone must kind of be curious as to, where does somebody stumble across this kind of ability? Because it feels, from the outside, it might feel like an ability, something you have to harness, but then there are other people that, and quite often, and I know from you, it's like your path as well to come in and be that. Yeah,
that's the whole point. I am that. I am that I am that I am. Where did it begin? Well, in my human self, I was 6. And I was playing with some frogs in my garden. And my mother had these beautiful roses that she had. And I just loved the roses. And I was playing with this frog because I love frogs. I used to collect them and put them on, go in the fields and collect them and put them in and play with them. And all of a sudden, these fairies appeared. They were dancing on my mother's roses. It was amazing. I always remember sitting there being amazed by the fairies as they danced. They were vibrant, they were colourful, they were light, they sparkled, they were pinks, golds, blues. They were every colour you could think of, and they were laughing and they were waving to me and I was waving back to them. And I saw the angels for the fairies many times. I never told anybody. It was like I knew I just wasn't going to tell anybody about the fairies. And I used to sit there regular and watch them play. And then I was sexually abused at the age of 7 by my father. And after I shot, I was right out of my body. I was out of my body and I saw myself on the bed on my own. And I was I was just so high up and it scared me. I was so afraid because I could see my body, but I was out of my body. And what happened was I just thought, pinch yourself, but it made no difference. I was still out of my body. I was so far out. And from that day on, I never saw the fairies anymore because my frequency had changed. I came in a very light, very high frequency, and the dark energy got me and lowered my frequency, lowered my vibration at the age of 7. And from then on, and it wasn't only the shock of that happening to me, it was a shock of losing my father also. I loved him so much. So I lost my father. And he'd taken my energy. I'm saying this for a reason, because I know so many people have been abused in different ways, not just sexually, but many different ways. But that's when your energy leaves you. Your power, the power of who you are, loses. And then you've got to go through your life to get that power back, but you don't know how. So from then on, I saw spirits because I was out with them. and then I got used to being in and out. And I used to see my neighbors up the road, what they were doing. I could jump out my body and be anywhere. And so mediumship, as I grew up, I saw spirits, I just did, was so easy for me because I was out with them. I didn't know, I was a brilliant medium. People kept saying you're a brilliant medium, but it was because I wasn't in my body. And I overworked my body physically. I did all these different jobs, all these different work. And because I'd been abused, and my mother was not an understanding person either, God bless her, I went from one abuse. So when I got married, I was in another abusive relationship. And then that split up and I was in another abusive relationship until eventually I came to the part, I've got 2 wonderful children. Those were magical. And I came to the part of realizing and understanding when I was living on my own with my son of like, oh my God, you've been in a pattern. I had no one to help me in those ways, in those days. But I was very resourceful. I'm a survivor. And people like us are survivors. They're either survivors or they go down. And so being a survivor, I always looked on the bright side of life, always. It's really funny, really. And then I knew I had to forgive. I had to forgive everything and everybody in my life, because forgiving is one of the biggest things we've all got to do, to let go of that energy from you to them. It frees them, it frees you. But to do that, some people need body work, and I had body work. And it was amazing. It was amazing because all of a sudden, I did a Brandon Bay thing with a friend of mine who was a hypnotist. And I remember she did it with my mother and my father. And I remembered everything around me changed. I just loved my dad again. I just loved my mother. I forgave everybody that ever beaten me up. I nearly got murdered, so I can tell you how far I went. And I forgive everything, every single thing. And I felt free, freer than you ever know. And then I met this wonderful man called Brian, all magical. Magic really started to happen in my life, really. Just before I met him, I was homeless again. I'd been homeless 2 times, once with 2 children and then with 1. But magic always happened for me. Magic always happened for me. It was amazing. And when I think how synchronicity all came in place, and all of a sudden I'm living somewhere, and all of a sudden I'm buying it. What with? I wasn't earning money. I'd have to keep leaving my works. but it all fell into place. I did write about it. I have written about all this, and I keep thinking one day I will let it out there, but whether I will or whether I won't, I don't know. But that's where I came from. And now with Brian, he could see spirit. We did mediumship together. We did all that work. And then he said, we've got to go and live in Cornwall. And I went, where's that? Where's that? And he said, I'll show you. And it was the weirdest thing. Something else happened and we shot off to Australia. And I worked in the Aborigine places there and the churches there. But it was only a holiday, but it never ended up being a holiday. It was work, obviously. And then, then we came back and everything changed. We were thrown off that ley line and ended up in Cornwall within 2 weeks of getting back. No idea we were moving there, but it just happened. It was amazing. And there was one house to rent in the place I'd once visited in Carbis Bay, and it was like magic. It was magic. And then we had to go back to Altrincham and do this big show we booked in to do our mediumship, tarot reading, all that. And this is where, on the third day I was reading, and I was reading for this beautiful lady. I always bring in the light. My auric field goes right out and brings in any energies that this person needs. And I remember looking at this lady and seeing this beautiful healing light around her. And as I was carrying on giving her all this information, all of a sudden, oh wow, I'll never forget it. This amazing angel, male angel, was his wings spread from one end of this university to the other. And they were white wings, feathers. It was amazing. And his blue eyes were really staring into me. It was amazing. And the energy that came through to me was beyond any feeling, emotion. It was beyond any of that. And then this lady spoke to me and she said, why are you crying? And I didn't know I was crying. And I just said, oh, there's a male angel at the back of you. And she said, oh, who's he for? But I didn't look down at her. I was still looking at him. And then she said, who's he for? And I just went, oh, for both of us, obviously, for both of us. And then I looked up and he disappeared. And that was on the Sunday. And we drove back down to Cornwall. So now this is April 1999. And we drove back to Cornwall and wow, I thought, oh my God, I've got to go to work. And I was walking up from the beach and this voice, now I was walking up from the beach, no one around me, no one. And this voice said, I said to myself, I need to get work here in Cornwall. And it said, no, you will now heal. And I went, oh my God, that voice was so powerful. There was no one there. And I thought, I heard that, but I've got to get a job. And he went, no, you will now heal. And that was the beginning of so much more, so many synchronicities, so much visions, so many people just coming into me. I knew people who I'd never met. So my whole life in Cornwall really, really shifted me. into a more, and then the mediumship left, because the healing I had to do, the more healing I had to do, someone appeared called Tanya Laino, who's amazing. And she started treating me with kinesiology, rebirthing, many more things. And I stopped doing everything but Kriya Yoga, which is the way of the breath, which I know I did in another life. And I did Kriya Yoga, breathing, which brought me into a superb, peaceful place. And then after, I think it was a year and a half, Archangel Michael appeared to me. I didn't know, he told me he was Michael. And he said, get out there now and work. And that's where I began. I began to work. And the channeling from Archangel Michael came through. He channeled through me. He used to stand in front of me and laugh when I said, I can't do this. And he used to laugh at me and go, oh, you can. Oh, you can. So that's how I got to Archangel Michael. Sorry, I do go on a bit, don't I?
No, I love it. I'm like, it's good for everybody that's like, just tuning in. And I just want to say, so that people know the context of, like, I'm currently in Cornwall.
Yeah,
I arrived yesterday, and synchronistically, yeah, I'm doing a podcast show with Gailelaine, who's, her life's work, I guess you could say, is really birthed from that place in in a way. So yeah, going back to what you said, and yeah, it's quite interesting how you had to go through these trials and to really figure out and own that as well. And I suppose you were saying as well before we started that you had big audiences of people whilst you were doing these, so you had to really, that was probably for you, maybe you thought, gosh, I got all those people to speak to, channeling, there's a what's the word, there's a an expectation, I suppose, from others that you had to overcome to really express what you're here to express.
Once I got on a stage, I used to think, oh my God, whatever's going to happen, because there was never any planning. No planning for me. And I just trust. Trust is the biggest thing for me. I'm a 3710. And 3710s, their basis, their grounding is trust. It's the most basic, biggest thing we've got to do is trust. So I trust. It's just trust all the time. I trust and let go and feel the fear and do it anyway. I had to. It was, this is what you're going to do. I was always given instructions. This is what you're going to do. Am I? Oh my God, how am I going to do that? And then the money comes, the opportunity comes, and then I go and I flow. I ended up in Canada that way. We ended up in, Australia that way, because we had no money. It came. It's just the weirdest thing. This is about trust. Trust for everyone. All of you out there, once you trust and you then get in that flow. But if you try and force something, you will be pushed back. You've got to remember that. You will be pushed back. So being in the flow is the biggest thing you have to do. And that means trust. That means breathing. That means everything to do with that. So being on that stage and all those people being there, it was like, I'd get on and go, oh my God, I hope you lot are with me. I'd do that before I went in. I'd feel myself and feel the energy, and then zoom, they would come in and the subjects would go on and on and on. And they would give messages. The angels give messages to people. I mean, I used to do it mediumship wise. So the angels, because your frequency changes, I must say this to you all. When you go into a different frequency, I can't feel the incarnate spirit anymore. It shifts. I shift from that energy, and I'm into the angelic energy now. But it was only through shifting all the heartaches, the pain, the actual programming, because we're programmed, aren't we? And you know, you have to shift, move through, and then learn to trust, letting go of the fear of lack. Letting go of the fear of lack is so important. And when you do, when you go, okay, I'm trusting, it's all about you all being brave. Light workers and people who are feeling this energy shift, it's about being brave and walking forward. And I had a message off Archangel Michael last night with the group I was working with. And he said, remember, you have all the tools. You have the tools before you come down to be on this planet at this time. You've worked through other lives to be here now. And through those other lives, you've learned all the lessons and you've got the tools. But the more you meditate, the more you breathe, the more you relax, the more you become one with yourself, the more the memory of what you did in past lives comes through. And it comes through and you speak it and you've not learnt it. It's nothing you've learned in this life, but it comes through and you go, how do I know that? Gosh, how did I know? How did I know that?
Yeah.
But it's from those other lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then, obviously, while I was in Cornwall, I was sat in my garden one day and this amazing energy drops over me. And I just start to cry again, thinking this energy is pure love, a love beyond falling in love. It's a million times falling in love. It's a million times that, and it was so beautiful. And then this voice said, we are the Elohim from the dawn of time. You are our brethren, and in your lifetime, we will send out a sound that will reverberate around every planet in your universes and other universes. And it will happen in your lifetime. And then they left me. And I thought, who are the Elohim? And they said the Elohim. And I thought, God, who are they? And I'd realized in some healing I went through from a lady called Ilona, who lives on light. She lives and breathes light. She gave me a healing and I saw these very tall beings. They're in a group. And when I read up on the Elohim, well, I didn't really read up. Someone told me, oh, Elohim, they're creators, are they? Oh, okay. I remember I saw them, the group, all those years ago. I'd seen that group. And they're amazing. They're tall, they're very thin, and they're tall and long-faced. And the Elohim then channel through me writing. So I get the writing, I get the light language through from the Elohim, because I kind of become that. Wish you come on here, see, Makaya, Sion no Yamaya. No, hey, no, hey, mano, no, hey. Noli manahe noyan Shina eha ku manakake shila tu shimana mahaya hu. As you know, they just introduce themselves to you. And this is what happens to me quite often when I'm with a group or with people. They shift that energy. So be the light for others, hold them, love them, be the love and the light. As long ago, before this world began, you all sat with me in my heart. We were one infinite lights. We began a journey. We were a sea of energy drifting in and out on a great breath. We were breathed. We were breathed by this great ocean of energy into a life form to experience the world floating within myself. You are not a channel. You are a natural energy that blends with the whole of the universe. Just flow into that, into who you really are. Just flow into you. Trust your light, trust your heart. Many light workers, many who are awakening, are going through hard times with their physical. You can do this. You can all do this. You are beautiful. You are beings of light. You are the essential love that has been sent down to help shift this whole universe. Do not be afraid. Yashuko, do not be afraid. Hold your light. Hold your energy. No matter what you are seeing in the world, hold the light. Hold the light and be who you have come to be. Trust. Shako, shako. Manake. Oh, well, right. So, as you can see, this happens to me. I'm back again now. So, Georgia, over to you.
Hey. Wow, I just really saw like, for me, I'm seeing all the shifting going on and the energy. I don't know if people who watch it on the YouTube would see the same thing that I see, or probably have individual lenses, but yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I see it with you anyway. It just looks like you're constantly in another dimension, to be honest. But in that particular moment, that I can't even put into words really what I was seeing, but it just looked like, yeah, there was much there, But beyond that, it is about the frequency and the words, and the shift that can occur through being open to receive a transmission like that, and being in that experience. So yeah, beautiful. And the breath is completely the gift of life. Someone who was on here last time, he was talking about astrology and how it's like how we, how and it reminded me even then what you said, or what the Elohim said through you, of the coming through on a breath. And he said the same thing about, and I saw this web of, geometric shape of patterns that are all coming through the Elohim breath and creating this weaving, and that's how we all move through it on this breath. And it's all really, he interpreted the same thing I just felt, but he didn't know. I didn't mention it even at the time, but it just came back in my head.
Good.
And I saw that again, and it's just like, yeah, this is what's happening. And have you got any advice for anybody in regards to that? Not necessarily about to be a channel, to be a light, but how do we hold this how do we stay in a beautiful high vibrational frequency? Because something you haven't actually mentioned is that you are able to pick up other people's frequencies, like a hertz, so if people are familiar with self-rego sound frequencies like 528, 369, you kind of interpret like that, don't you? The frequency that people are at.
I feel when I have someone, I do work on here as well. I test what they are before we begin, and I do it with kinesiology. I test their frequency and their vibration with kinesiology, testing what they are, and I ask, because whoever comes to me for a shift, a transformation, their angel is always with them. I see other people's angels. I ask their angels to come, and they show me before the person comes on what is going on with them. Some part of them that begins the change, to begin. That's how I work at the beginning. And their angel comes in and shows me. And as we're going through with different modalities, helping them to transform their frequency, the angel shows me where that they are shifting. They show me with their wing change. But as you say, they're not, all angels don't come through with wings. They show me with their light. They show me with their smile, or they touch me, and then they'll go and touch the actual person I'm working with. And that energy shifts with them. And then at the end, I will test again and see how far they've shifted. And you know that because you've been here a few times.
Yeah.
And you know that when you've shifted. But what I will have to say to you all is that when you shift, something else might have already come up ready to be moved again. So it's not a complete clearing. You can't have if you think you can clear everything while you're here, you wouldn't still be here. I wouldn't still be here, although I know I'm here to help transform. But when I feel something coming up, I go, I've got a bit of something here. Okay, let's let that through. Let's feel it. I don't need to know where it's from. I don't need to know anymore where it's from, who did this to me or what, because it's not who I am anymore. You know, I feel like I've been chiseled and changed and sculptured into who I am now by everything that happened. And to be honest, I had to go through all that. I had to go through all what I've been through to be who I am, to help the, you know, sometimes I can see a soul come and sit here and I go, oh, abuse, I can see that. You know, oh, been beaten. Ah, yeah, lost your power. I can see that. You know, I can feel all those things because I've been through them. I don't teach anything that have not helped me shift myself. I don't say, try this, try that. I just say, this is work for me. Shall we have a go at this? You know, but I don't train at anything. It's in me. And the angels, I mean, Archangel Michael, I said to Archangel Michael one day, why can't you just go through the streets and just shift their energy and bless them and, you know, just shift it? And he laughed at me. It was amazing. He's got a brilliant sense of humor, Archangel Michael has. And he said to me, doesn't work like that, child. He always calls me child. He said, whoever's drawn to you is ready for it. People have to be ready for this shift. It doesn't happen it doesn't. You have to be ready to come for the shift. And some people don't feel it straight away. When I've done my work, they feel it when they've slept for a week. You know, it's not instant. Nothing's instant. Although I do have some people that they feel it instantly. One being you.
Yeah. You tweaked me a little bit, didn't you, just before we started?
Before we came on,
yeah. Just went
because you've been traveling. You
Yeah.
needed. I love Georgia. I must tell you about Georgia. When I first met Georgia, I was channeling, Archangel Michael was channeling, walking around in a circle, and she arrived late with her mother. And oh my God, I saw her wings. Archangel Michael saw her and I went, there's one. We've got to have her. She's one of them. And then I invited you here to do a weekend workshop with me, with others, a few others. I live in a small home, but I do things sort of quiet. And I ask people if they will sound. When they sound, I can tell whether their heart's shut or not. And if their heart's shut, we've got to open the heart. And Georgia's heart was shut, and because of things that had gone on with her in her past. And so we worked. I worked with tapping, and I use the tapping, but when I do the tapping with someone, I have an energy that flies through, that works with the person when they're tapping. Or I do different modalities. And all of a sudden, the second day, I said, sound, Georgia. And she sounded, her heart opened, and it was, I mean, the others went, oh, it was amazing. It was brilliant. I thought, got you now. You're here. And then her wings spread out. And I went, yes, we are here, Georgia. Georgia has extraordinary energy. I mean, I do the Elohim have been, you know, doing the light language through me a long time. And the singing, they sing. I can't sing, they sing. And Georgia, when she started to do it, really, she came to one of my gatherings, little shy, Georgia did. And Archangel Michael got hold of her and went, now, stand up. And he was in, the energy of him was so powerful, and he put my hand at the back of her and said, sound. And she did, in a group. And that was
like
I know. the energy that is with me and Archangel Michael. You see, you can't all sit there thinking, no, I can't do this. Who will people think about me? You've got to forget about all that. You have to do what you're here to do, what your heart sings for, what you dance for in that energy. That's what you're all here for. You're all here to stand up, be seen. Don't shy, don't hide away. Stand up and be seen. Don't be afraid of what people think of you, because it doesn't matter at all. It's not that energy anymore. Not at all. And by the way, I was told, I lived in Cornwall 18 years. And then my husband, he passed there over 10 years now. And the energy said, you're moving. And I could feel the move in me. And I go, oh God, where am I moving to? Then I thought, oh, Devon's good, because I have lots of people who came to my gatherings in Devon and Cornwall. And then it said, no, you're moving to Kent. And I went, oh my God, no. Kent is so busy. It's very money orientated. It's very work. And because my daughter lived here, and I was thinking, oh no, I've got to go live in Kent. I knew no one. And when I first came here, it was like I was the first Black or Chinese person they'd ever seen if I talked about anything, about frequencies, about anything. So it was very lonely for the first 2 years. And then my body vibrated. When one morning, my whole body was vibrating. I was lay there and it just vibrated and vibrated. And I went, and after an hour, I got up and I went, oh my God, I'm here. At last, I'd really arrived here in Kent. And the universe found me this place I live in. I live in with beautiful trees all around me and in the middle of nowhere. You know, I rent. It was just, and my kids were going, well, you can't just come to Kent and find somewhere to live. You've got to start looking there. I said, no, they've told me to come in on third week in January and I'll find it. And they'll say, you'll never find it. Never. And I went, okay, I'll never find it. And for the first few days, I went to see places. I couldn't afford them or they were awful. And then on the Saturday, I was thinking, well, I'm going home Tuesday. I've obviously got it wrong. And then a lady called Rosie, who had met and give a healing to here in Kent, she said, have you seen this property? And I went, no. And she said, do you want to look at it? I said, okay. And she drove and picked me up and we drove for miles, nearly an hour, and we got here. And I stood on a ley line. There's a church called Mary Magdalene across from me. And I went, this is it. This is the place. And I said, how far is it from my daughter? And it was only 10 minutes. She'd got lost and took me around everywhere. And my children own a restaurant here called Jojo's, and my landlady is called Jojo. And she looked at me and I looked at her and I went, oh. And she went, oh. That was it. I lived here within a very short, very short amount of time. Everything falls into place when you're in it and trust and know you've got to do it. And letting go of Cornwall was hard. But there again, I haven't let go of Cornwall or Devon or Canada, because Canada had some really fantastic things, visions. I have many visions. I mean, I could tell you, but I'd be here all day. So,
well, you could also write your book.
Well,
and publish your channeled writing messages.
I tell everybody I'm dyslexic. I'm no good with technology. I don't know how to do things. I don't know how to get my book out. I would like to. I mean, I haven't got a website anymore because my husband did all that. I am just, and I'm glad I'm dyslexic, by the way. And, you know, because we come from Syria. Well, I come from Sirius. I'm not saying we all come from Sirius, which is another planet, which is another way of communicating and another way of being. So, but with all this technology and everything, I'm just hopeless. So I have written, but I had many channelings. Like there's a little one, it always sticks in my mind, this one. The angels came through. It's very short, and it says, "Don't rush through my garden without taking in my light. I am your spirit. I am your guide. I am your soul cell deep inside."
You know, you said that at 12:21.
Oh,
I love the time synchronicities,
yeah.
numbers. Oh, thank you for that. And there was something that wanted to come in, but then that just took me out for a moment because even when you say it and you're relaying it, there's still the frequency is still there. And
The
every time
energy
you've done it, I feel like my mind gets erased. I was like, okay, need to come back to a question. Hello, was just wanting to sit with that beautiful message, and you do bring so much joy in, and it is really wonderful, as always, to sort of be speaking with you and sharing your story. And I really wanted to bring you on to share your story for quite a while, didn't I? Because you've really been in it from, you know, the beginning. You know, this is a beautiful journey that we can all really learn from and understand that, you know, it isn't, yeah, just a quick process. I think things are definitely quickening at the moment, and people are finding themselves, even like myself, kind of being pushed into it quicker than, you know, we sometimes feel
Ready
like
for?
we're ready for, because we're still thinking that there's that construct of, yeah, having to work, having to do life in a certain way,
Yes.
and
Don't.
that's, yeah, it's all falling, that's just not doable. And I'm this, you know, I've tried to work in certain ways, do things in certain ways, because it seems logical in the human
Which we're
way,
not.
or the 3D sort of, and it's just like falls apart, falls apart. It's like, okay, I'm getting the message, I'm gonna do it. So it's
Things
lovely
fall
to hear
apart.
that from you. Mm,
Things
mm,
have to fall apart. We
yeah.
have to fall apart to be rebuilt,
Mm.
to be, you know, to come to who we are, really who we are. So we have to fall apart. People, I mean, I've had people that say to me, "I've got a plan." Oh God, oh right, okay. You've got a plan. Great. If that plan were, I used to manifest, and you can manifest things, but the manifestations fall to bits. You know, after a while, those manifestations fall to bits, and because they were never meant for you. What's meant for you will never, ever go by you, ever. And when you're in the flow, you see, I don't manifest anymore at all. I believe in the flow. And to be in the flow, you need to breathe. So remember, you were born on a breath, you were born with a color, and you were born with a sound. This is my color. This is what I was born on.
Mm.
And we are born on we come in energetically on that light vibration. So it's when we've been through, I call it the stuff, you know, all the fear, all this, all that, all the battles, all the rows, all whatever's going on with you. When we've come through it, forgiven it, blessed it, loved it. I mean, a lot of people go, "Oh yeah, I bless all that," and I go, "Yeah, but you've got so much SHIT in you, you've never really looked at it." And they'll go, "Well, it's not right to be angry or, you know, shout at people. It's not that way because I'm spiritual." And I go, "Rubbish." You've got to get it out. You can't hold it in. It's got to come out. It can't be held in, you know? We have to sound it, get it out, write about it, just write, and then it'll leave you, and then you'll feel a different thing altogether. But that means being in the flow, being in that flow. And once you're in the flow, you're breathing with the earth, you're breathing with the universe, you're breathing with the light. And when you're in that light and in that breath, when something comes up and it looks at you and it's gone, I am a bit of a dark part of you, you go, oh, it's okay. I'm letting, you know, I can just push that through. Once you've done a lot of healing on yourself, when something comes up, you'll go, I'll sort that now. You don't go, oh, this is going to affect me again or anything like that. You go, oh, I can sort that, and boom, boom, and let it go and let it flow, let it go, let it flow. I wouldn't go and hide and I've got to do this to stop this feeling. That's not here anymore. You can't do that. Allow that feeling to expand through you, but breathe. Like I said, I do Kriya Yoga. I teach Kriya Yoga because I was a Kriya Yoga teacher in another life. Yeah, in the Himalayas. And I taught that. And Kriya Yoga brings you to that peaceful, peaceful self. You become in peace. And then everything changes. And it's 5 breaths, do them about 20 times. You don't get up to 20 times each when you're beginning. It's a practice. And you practice. You do this and you become. And every time you do your Kriya Yoga, you go into meditation so easily. It's amazing. Plus, I must say to you, when you go into meditation, make a word up that doesn't relate to anything on this planet. Just make up a gobbledygook word. And when that monkey, I call it here, the monkey mind comes in, just repeat your word, repeat your word. You call it a mantra, repeat your word. When you've done your Kriya Yoga, you're then so relaxed, you're in that, and just repeat your word. If anything tries to come in, repeat your word over and over. And eventually, you're in another space. You're in a beautiful space. And now, this is why I say to people, don't make a decision when you're in fear, anger, or pain. Meditate, go in, then your frequency is the right space, ready for that decision, because you think from a different place. You're coming from a different energy. So Ino yamane hayono no Ishta. Now, children of the light, Nyaka, now is your time to shine. Remembering you are powerful, Rishka, powerful beyond belief. Don't allow your tiny minds to take over who you are, Yashka. You are the light. Makia. You are the love. Shai, 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 saga. Nyaya. Time. Thank you. And the Elohim wish to thank all of you for incarnating at this time. All of you. You are powerful. You are beautiful. You have the light. You have the power. The power is you. You are perfect as you are. Okay. With love, I leave you now. All of you, and child, it is time for her to leave also. A prayer of light will be out with all of you as you sleep. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So again, people can find Gailelaine on Facebook as Gailelaine Angeleyes. I'm going to put all the links below so that you can visit her page, because you can then visit for meditations and messages, and then of course reach out if you have anything personal that you wish to explore with this magnificent soul. Thank you so much.
We're all the same, my darling. What you see, you see in you.
Indeed, indeed.
Indeed.
So of course, yeah, everybody follow along, and then please, for this page as well, this podcast, give your comments of how you and what you experienced, and share with anyone you feel would resonate. We'd love to spread this podcast around so people can receive this information. It's really important at this time, so I'd be very grateful. I think Elohim would be very grateful, if I can say so myself. Yes, lots of love. See you next Friday. Bye for now.
Bye for now.